Hey everyone, how's it going? For this video, I'm basically going to be talking about ERE, IRE, and ERE verbs in the Italian language. So basically, in the Italian language, there's two kinds of verbs. They have the regular verbs, which are they're just basic verbs, and then they have the irregular verbs, which require memorization. And I'm not going to talk about that in this video because in order to know how to conjugate irregular verbs, you have to kind of know the fundamentals of how to conjugate the basic verbs first. So I'm just going to be sticking with regular, basic ARE, IRE, and ERE verbs. So basically, unlike in English, if we were to conjugate a verb, for instance, let's say we're talking about eat. So it'd be, I eat, you eat, he or she eats, we eat, you guys eat, you in plural, and then they eat. So you see how basically the pronoun changes, but the verb itself doesn't change. Well, being that Italian comes from it's a Latin derived language, the structure is different. So for example, let's say we're going to use, all right, so basically let's start off like this. So they have ARE, IRE, and ERE verbs in Italian. So let's say we'll use a verb, for instance, mangiare, which means to eat. An IRE verb we'll use dormire, which means to sleep. And then for ERE we'll use scrivere, which is to write. So here you can see they have three different types of verbs. There's no explanation as to why there are ARE, IRE, and ERE verbs. That's just the way the Italian language is. But for instance, with this verb mangiare, if you want to say I eat, you have to drop this ARE here, and you're going to be adding an O. So it's going to be io mangio, like that. Then for you eat would be tu mangi. He or she eats would be lui, he, lei, she, mangia. Noi for we, mangiamo. Voi mangiate, and loro mangiano. Let's see if we can get this bigger. I guess not. So basically, as you can see, you have mangiare here. Here's the verb. You drop the ARE, and you add an O. So it'd be io mangio. That'd be I eat. To say you eat, you would drop the ARE and you'd add the I. So it'd be tu mangi. For lui and lei, which means he and she, you drop the ARE, you add the A. Noi, you drop the ARE and you add iamo. So it's noi mangiamo, we eat. And then you guys eat. Voi mangiate. And then loro mangiano. So it's just a matter of, knowing what to add at the end of it, to match the particular pronoun. For dormire, it's pretty much the same, only there is a slight difference. So, like I said, how you have to drop the ARE, you're going to drop the IRE. So it's going to be io dormo, tu dormi. So far it's the same. See? Lui, lei, dorme. So it's not going to be dorma, it's dorme. That's just the form for the IRE. For conjugating regular IRE verbs, the form is e and not a, like in the first example up here. So it'd be noi dormiamo, like above. And then voi dormite. So you can see that this is ate up here, this is ite. So for the ARE verbs, that's the slight difference, Dormire would be ite, and are would be ate. Same with loro, it wouldn't be loro dormano, it'd be loro dormono. Like this, dormono. So like I was just saying, it's not A and O, it's O and O down here. That's just the structure. That's how you would conjugate the IRE verbs. And it's exactly the same thing here too. There is a slight difference though between these two here. So for example, scrivere, you want to say I write, you'd say io scrivo, tu scrivi, lui lei scrive, noi scriviamo, voi scrivete, Loro scrivono. So this is to write. So it's io scrivo, which as you can see, it follows the same pattern. Tu scrivi follows the same pattern. And for the lui and lei, he or she, it actually follows the same rule as the IRE and not the ARE. So it would be lui lei scrive. Noi scriviamo is the same, just like in the other ones. Voi scrivete, which is different. Again, there are the slight differences. And then loro scrivono, just like in the IRE verb up here. So yeah, it's just a matter of, looking at a chart, kind of seeing, understanding what changes. So like, for example, like, you're not going to say like, I'll get rid of this. If you want to say, you guys eat, you wouldn't say voi mangiate. You wouldn't say that. You have to go by voi mangiate. That's just how it is, So it's just a matter of understanding and getting used to, seeing different verbs. Once you understand, the basic rules, like I basically just showed you there, you'll be able to conjugate every single regular ARE, IRE, and ERE verb in the Italian language. So that's basically my video. I basically explained this in my Prezi, but I put the video, with the voice because some students would probably understand better when somebody explains it, rather than when it's written. So anyway, thank you very much, and see you next time.